You ready? You ready? Okay, I want to put you to the test. See how much you remember and how much your teachers in grade 11 have talked about this. When you're thinking of loans, give me some key words that you're thinking of when you're thinking of a loan. What are some words that should come up? Interest? Yes. What's interest? What you pay the bank? It's their profit. Yeah, it's their profit. It's literally, they're like, hey, take this money, take a few years to pay it back, but I'm going to charge you for it. And that's going to be like the cherry on top. That's like their profit, literally. Okay? That's how they make money. What else should come up? What's that? Interest rate is different. Interest rate is a percentage, right? So they'll say we charge you 5% interest. And then we can do the math and figure out how much it is actually in dollars. Okay? Most loans, if you borrow like let's say 20 grand to buy a car, you're gonna pay back 25,000, depending on how long you take to pay it, what the interest rate is. Right now, an interest rate is probably like for a used car 6-7%, maybe higher. It's pretty high. If you get your parents to buy it, their credit is better. They probably have a better interest rate. Okay, so interest rate, interest. What else do we have? Not all at once. You're making monthly income. Yeah, you need your income. You need your income to see if you qualify. Payments. Yes. Do you remember using a table? Do you remember using an amortization table? You grab a number out of that table. Yeah. So all of that stuff is going to come back. And if you don't know what I'm talking about, I'll show you. Okay. So here we go. Have a calculator ready? So we're going to do financing. Up front now, okay? Many people cannot afford to buy a vehicle outright, so they need to borrow money. The total principal. Do you remember principal is the amount of loan. You were given by the bank. This will need to be repaid in full. We call this the loan or the total principal. I use green for this one. Okay, total interest. I'm going to use red or purple, something pink. The total interest is the finance charge. Or the cost of borrowing. We call this TI, okay? So finance charge or borrowing, like the cost of borrowing, it's called the total interest. Total paid to the bank gets a different color. I'm just going to go over this. Is the sum of the total principal and the total interest. So watch this. Total principal is what I used green with. And then there's the total interest, which is a different color. Okay. So what you're going to be paying the bank is the amount you borrowed, every single penny plus interest. So here's a picture. Total paid to the bank is comprised of the total principal. Right, so this section right here is principal. So if you borrow 10 grand, you're going to pay them back 10 grand, no questions asked. But then they're going to tack on a portion that is their profit. Okay, and so that's the total interest. So that's how loans work. So guess what? Just look up here real quick. I think you need to understand this before you graduate, okay? You take 10 grand, okay? The bank does the math real quick. They have a computer that does that. They're like, okay, after 5 years, we need to add this much interest to whatever you're borrowing. So let's say it's $2,000. So that means that you will pay back in total $12,000. So they take that and they divide it into the number of months that you wish to pay. So every single payment has a little bit of principal, a little bit that pays this off, and a little bit of that pays off the interest that they want to get from you by the end. Okay, guys? So the monthly payment. Therefore, we don't deal with anything other than monthly payment, even though in reality, you can pay every 2 weeks, you can pay weekly, you can do whatever you want, okay? I don't get paid every 2 weeks, I get paid twice a month. That's different than every 2 weeks. Did you know that? Bi-weekly is different than twice a month. Teachers get paid twice a month. So I have my payment go off the 15th and the last day of the month, every time, okay? If you're every 2 weeks, then it's a little different cycle. And that monthly payment stays fixed until the loan is repaid in full. This is where I want a different color for this one right here. The payment is blended. Why do you say blended, Mr. Erickson? They take the principal and the interest and they blend it into one big amount. So every payment has a little bit of both in it, okay? So this is the part that I need you to understand. For another part I need you to understand, that the payment is made up of lowercase p and lowercase I. And I'm going to ask you to add to this table here. Consider a bar. This is total principal. That's how much you took out at the very beginning. Every single month, some of this is going towards that, okay? And every single month, there's going to be a big amount of interest that you're going to have to pay at the end of the loan called total interest. And so every single payment, some of it goes into that. So, and these bars by the end of your loan will be completely filled up. So every single payment has a little bit of principal and a little bit of interest in it. We're going to calculate that down the road. Okay? What's the term? The term is how long you would like to pay it for, right? The time it takes to pay off the loan. Used cars, banks will not allow you more than 5 years. I don't know if you knew that. New cars, they go up to 7. Interest rate. Interest rate is the percentage, right? It's stated as a percentage. We convert it to a decimal by dividing it by 100. So you've got term, interest rate, monthly payment, total paid to the bank, all of that stuff adding up here, lots of terms. So I'm going to skip page 25 and 26 for now. Actually, 26, I just want to give you, I want you to go to 26 at this table right here. Let's say you take a 1-year loan and you've got 12 monthly payments. At first, there's the principal amount, like, so this is your payment. Look at what my fingers are. The whole bar is the payment. Let's say it's $500 a month, every month. Most of it is principal, like actually pays off your loan. Some of it is interest. What happens to the interest portion as time goes by? It gets smaller and smaller, right? Because as months go by, you owe less and less. So there's less and less interest that they charge you on a monthly basis, okay? So you got to keep that in mind. 27, I need the formulas. I need you to have those on your study sheet. It's going to take up a lot from your study sheet. Look at the top of this. I want you to have loans, right? This is going to be the heading. So obviously you're now in vehicle finance and you're going to have loans up at the top. That's going to be the heading for all these formulas. Okay? What does it say next to loans? Can you read? That's mortgages, okay? Mortgages are loans, but they're towards real estate. So a house, a property. A real estate loan can be 25 years, 30 years. It can be much longer than a loan. When we start talking about home finance, all of these formulas will be exactly the same. So you can double dip when it comes to loans. So you can say loans / mortgages. So yes, this is going to take up a lot of space, but you get to use this again when we do the home finance unit. So here we go. Loan, the amount borrowed, is the price of the item, taxes included, so don't be adding taxes to it, minus the down payment. That's how you do the loan. So that's formula number 1. For monthly payment, we use the table on page 32. I'm going to show you that in a bit, or the rate given by the question. Here's the payment formula. I'm going to box in all the formulas that are really important to have. Okay. Total paid to the bank. Down payment goes it goes towards the principal. Maybe I should have mentioned it. What's a down payment? It's the cash amount you have right at the beginning that you wish to put towards the principal. That's right. So if you buy a car that's worth $10,000, you saved up $3,000. You're going to say $3,000 off. So how much are you borrowing? $7,000, right? The $7,000 that you still need to get the $10,000. So yes, it goes towards the principal. Total paid to the bank. This includes the amount borrowed and the total interest paid to the bank. So this is important to have as well. Total paid to the bank. You will take your monthly payment times 12, because it's a monthly payment, so there are 12 in a year, and then you just multiply it by how many years you're taking the loan for. Okay. Total interest. Finance charge. Please remember that total interest is the same thing as finance charge. This is how you find it. Okay, total, it's basically, if you look up here, I'm just going to show you. Maybe I'll highlight that. It's this portion right here all over again. But what is changed? What has changed between this one and this one is you subtract the amount that you've borrowed or the loan. Okay. Can I just highlight that up here? Amount borrowed is right here. Use the same color for this part than this part down here. Interest paid on your first month. Interest paid in the first month, you take the loan and you multiply it by interest rate divided by 100. All of that divided by 12. Right now there's a lot of formulas, you just have to kind of bear with me for now. Principal paid on the first month. Principal, I will just try to do this. First month, you just go payment minus interest. Sorry about that. writing this down, right? Total you paid for the car. Like if somebody asks you, like, hey, you took the loan, you did all of that, how much did you really pay for the car? This is what you're gonna say. You're gonna take the down payment you made plus everything you paid the bank and interest and everything. That's how much otherwise you're lying. If you're saying, oh, I got the car for 10 grand, it's like, wait a minute, did you take a loan? Yes, well, how much interest did you pay on that loan? Because that technically costs you, right? So that's what you're gonna say. So this formula is much longer if you want the total paid to the bank. Where's total paid to the bank, guys? I highlighted it earlier. Total paid to the bank is this part. So if you want that to be the same color, I'm just gonna ask you to highlight that one more time. That's where it shows up. So they're the same formula. I would say just have this box, this one right here with highlighter. I wouldn't have both versions of the total paid to the bank, for the car, sorry. There's another formula down there, but I'm gonna wait for now. Before the bell goes, okay? And this is a freebie. I'm gonna give you class time to copy all of these down on your study sheet. You need them for tomorrow, okay? I will do a little bit of a lesson tomorrow. We'll practice in class, and maybe before we leave, I'll give you an AC before we leave where you need these formulas. So right now, your task is, till the bell goes, to copy these formulas down onto your study sheet. Thank you, guys.